Welcome back the rare and valuable coins today. We're diving deep into the world of silver Washington quarter dollars. But not just any quarters, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So let's get started. First up, their history, design, and current market value. In today's video, we'll take a close look at the 1995 Washington quarter dollar with a P mint mark. This coin may appear silver in color, but if you're wondering whether it's made of silver, how much it's worth, or whether it has any collector interest despite being in bad condition with some scratches, you're in the right place. Let's get into the details. To begin with, the Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1932. Introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the classic design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, features a left-facing portrait of George Washington on the front or obverse of the coin. On the reverse side, the familiar image of an eagle standing on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches represents both military strength and a desire for peace. The coin you're looking at is dated 1995 and bears a P mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In that year, over 1.1 billion quarters were minted at the Philadelphia facility alone, which means the 1995 P quarter is very common in terms of mintage. Now let's clear up one of the most common questions. Is the 1995 Washington quarter made of silver? Even though your coin has a silver color, it is not a silver coin. The last circulating Washington quarters made of 90% silver were struck in 1964. Beginning in 1965, all standard circulating quarters were changed to a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of a core of pure copper with an outer layer made from 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gives the coin a silvery appearance. But there's no precious metal value in the regular 1995 P quarter. The only silver Washington quarters minted in 1995 came from special collector's proof sets, which were struck in San Francisco and bear an S mint mark. So unless your coin is in error or was accidentally struck on a leftover silver planchette, which is extremely rare, your 1995 P is made of standard clad materials. Now let's talk about condition, because it plays a big role in determining a coin's value. You mentioned the coin is in bad condition with some scratches and color shading. That suggests heavy wear, surface damage, and possible environmental exposure like toning, discoloration, or even slight corrosion. In numismatic terms, this type of wear would usually place the coin in the good or about good grade range, which is near the bottom of the grading scale. While the details of Washington's portrait and the eagle on the back may still be visible, the luster is likely gone, and the scratches reduce visual appeal in this condition. The coin has no premium above face value for most collectors. On the auction market, a 1995 P quarter in bad condition typically sells for 25 to 35 cents. And in many cases, it will just trade for its original face value of 25 cents. However, as with any coin, there are a few exceptions. Certain error coins from 1995 can be worth significantly more. These include things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or broad strikes. If you happen to spot anything unusual about your coin, like doubling in the letters or numbers, misaligned designs, or weird shapes, it might be worth getting it looked at by a coin expert or sending it to a grading service. Aside from rare errors, the only other version of the 1995 quarter that has significant value is the 1995's silver-proof quarter. These coins were made of 90% silver and came only in special proof sets for collectors. Those coins were never meant for circulation, and they have a mirror-like finish. A silver 1995 proof quarter in high grade can sell for $8 to $15 or more, depending on condition and certification, but again, these do not have a P mint mark and don't appear in pocket change. So, to summarize your 1995 Washington quarter with a P mint mark, even though it appears silver in color, is not made of silver. And because it's in bad condition with scratches, its value remains close to face value. It's still a genuine piece of U.S. history and represents a time just before the 50-state quarters program began in 1999. And while this particular coin won't bring in big money at auction, it's always worth keeping for sentimental or educational value. Next up, where we explore the fascinating world of U.S. coins, one coin at a time. In today's video, we'll take a look at the 1981 Washington quarter dollar with demint mark. If you have this coin in hand and you've noticed it has a silver color, is in dirty condition, and has some scratches, you might be wondering whether it's valuable or made of real silver. Let's take a closer look and uncover everything you need to know about this specific coin, from its history to its actual worth in today's auction market. Let's begin with a quick background. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. First introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by John Flanagan, has remained a staple in American coinage for decades. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, along with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year of issue in this case, 1981. The reverse showcases the traditional heraldic eagle, with wings spread and perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength. Framed by olive branches to signify peace, your coin bears the demint mark, indicating it was minted at the Denver Mint. In 1981, the Denver Mint struck over 575 million quarters, a very high number. That means the 1981D quarter is quite common in terms of availability. Coins from this year still show up in everyday circulation and aren't considered rare. Now, one of the most common misconceptions surrounding coins like this is the question of silver content. Even though your 1981D quarter has a silver-colored appearance, it is not made of silver. It's composed of a copper core with a copper-nickel-clad outer layer. This composition has been standard for Washington quarters ever since 1965, when the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver in everyday circulating quarters. So while your coin may look like silver, it has no actual silver value unless it was part of a special proof set or a rare minting error, neither of which apply to a standard 1981D quarter in circulated condition. Let's now talk about the condition. You described your coin as dirty, with some scratches. That suggests it's been in circulation for quite a while and shows visible signs of wear and damage. In numismatic grading terms, this would place the coin somewhere in the good to very good range. The details on Washington's face may be worn smooth, the eagle's feathers on the back may lack sharpness, and the luster is most likely gone. Dirt and scratches further affect eye appeal, and, unfortunately, such a coin does not carry much numismatic value. So what does that mean for the coin's worth? In today's auction market, a 1981D Washington quarter in dirty or heavily worn condition will typically sell for its face value of 25 cents, or in some cases slightly more, around 30 to 40 cents, depending on the buyer. These coins are considered common, and unless they're in mint or uncirculated condition, they don't attract collector premiums. However, there are always a few exceptions. Some 1981D quarters may have minting errors, for example, off-center strikes, double die obverses, or die cracks. These types of errors are relatively rare, but when found, they can increase a coin's value significantly, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Such a coin could be worth anywhere from $20 to $200 or more. If you think your coin has anything unusual about its design, edge, or lettering, it's worth examining under magnification or getting a second opinion from a coin dealer or grading service. Also, some collectors seek out full Daytan mint sets of Washington quarters. Even common coins in low condition can fill gaps for beginners or those on a budget. While that doesn't increase the individual value by much, it does mean there's a small niche of people who may still be interested in purchasing your coin for around face value plus shipping, especially in bulk lots. In summary, your 1980 1D Washington quarter is a nice piece of American coinage history. It's not made of silver, and because it's in dirty, scratched condition, it does not hold significant value in today's market. However, it's still a coin worth learning about, especially if you enjoy building a collection or teaching others. About us coins, while this particular coin might not be a treasure, it can be a stepping stone to understanding what makes coins valuable and what features to look for in the future. Next up, we're taking a closer look at another interesting piece of American coinage, the 1978 Washington quarter dollar, without a mint mark. You may have one of these in your collection or pocket change, and maybe it caught your eye because of its silver-like appearance. But is it actually silver? Is it worth anything more than 25 cents? And what if your coin is in dirty condition with some scratches? Let's explore everything you need to know about this coin. From history to value in today's market, the Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. coin history since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by John Flanagan, has become one of the most recognizable images in American currency. On the obverse or front of the coin, we see a portrait of George Washington facing left. Around him, the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year, which in this case is 1978. The reverse features a bald eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, a powerful symbol of both strength and peace. Now, your coin does not have a mint mark. That simply means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1978, the Philadelphia Mint produced a large number of these quarters, over 521 million to be exact. So from a mintage standpoint, this coin is very common and regularly found. In circulation even today, one of the most common questions people have is about the metal content. Since your coin appears silver in color, it's natural to wonder if it contains real silver. But the truth is, it does not. The last year the U.S. Mint used real silver in circulating quarters was 1965. Starting in 1965, the composition changed to a copper core with a copper-nickel outer layer, also known as clad coinage. This is the standard metal mix for all Washington quarters produced for circulation from 1965 onward, including the one from 1978. So while the coin has a silver-like appearance, it contains no actual silver unless it was part of a special collector set, and those proof coins from 1978 would have come from the San Francisco Mint and would include an S mint mark, not no mint mark. So, if your coin was found in circulation and has no mint mark, it's safe to say it's a standard clad quarter. Let's now talk about condition. You mentioned that the coin is in dirty condition with some scratches. These factors significantly affect a coin's grade and desirability. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin in good or about good condition, heavily worn with loss of detail, dirt buildup, and surface damage usually commands little to no premium above face value. Scratches, especially those that are obvious or deep, also reduce the coin's eye appeal and collectability. Now to the question of value in today's auction market. A standard 1978 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in dirty and scratched condition, typically has a value of 25 cents, its original face value. In some cases, you might see it sell for 30 to 40 cents on online marketplaces, especially if grouped with other coins. But unless it's in uncirculated or proof condition, it's not considered a rare or highly valuable coin. That said, it's always worth keeping an eye out for error coins, which can add serious value. A few types of errors from this era include off-center strikes, double dies, and coins struck on the wrong planchette. If your coin looks unusual, for example, if the edges are uneven, the design appears doubled, or it sounds different when dropped, it may be worth closer inspection. Some verified mint errors have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars, while your 1978 quarter in its current condition may not be worth much financially. It still holds historical and educational value. It's a great representation of us. Coinage from the late 20th century. It's before the big change that came in 1999 with the launch of the 50-state quarters program. For beginner collectors, a 1978 quarter can still be a satisfying piece to hold on to, especially if you're putting together a full-year set or a run of Washington quarters from every decade to sum it all up. Your 1978 Washington quarter. Dollar without a mint mark is not made of silver, and in dirty, scratched condition, it carries no significant collector premium. It remains a common circulation coin worth around 25 cents, lest you discover a rare error or a high-grade version. Still, it's a nice piece of U.S. history and a great coin to learn from as you build your collection. Next up, where we dive deep into the world of U.S. coins, one coin at a time. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at the 1965 Washington $quarter coin, which comes without a mint mark, has a silver-like appearance, is in very fine condition, and shows a few scratches. If you've got one of these in your collection or found one in your change, this video will tell you exactly what it's worth in today's market and weather. Or not, it's made of real silver. Let's start with some history. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay in American currency since 1932, when it was first released to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the quarter features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, with the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the minting year, in this case, 1965. The reverse showcases a bold image of a bald eagle, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both strength and peace. Now, one important historical note about 1965. This year marks a major turning point in U.S. coinage. Prior to 1965, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to rising silver prices and the cost of producing coins, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of quarters in 1965 to a clad coinage system, a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper nickel. This change meant the end of silver quarters for everyday use. So what does this mean for your 1965 quarter? While it looks silver, and many people assume it contains precious metal, the truth is it does not. It is composed of copper and nickel. This change applies to all quarters minted from 1965 onward for general circulation, including yours. It's important to note that 1965 quarters have no mint mark, because the mint temporarily removed mint marks between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding. Now, let's move on to condition. You described your coin as being in very fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading, very fine typically means the coin still retains most of its details. For a 1965 quarter, this would mean that the hair and facial features on Washington are still visible, and the eagle's feathers are mostly defined. However, the scratches may lower the coin's visual appeal slightly. Even if they don't affect its structural integrity, in the world of coin collecting, condition plays a huge role in value. A 1965 quarter in very fine condition, even with some light scratches, is still well above the lowest grade, and would likely appeal to entry-level collectors, especially those looking to complete a year set of clad quarters. However, because this coin is so common, its value remains modest. Speaking of rarity and supply, let's look at mintage numbers. In 1965, over 1.8 billion quarters were produced. Yes, that's billion with a B that makes this one of the highest minted quarters in history. with that kind of quantity. Even coins in decent condition aren't rare or particularly valuable unless they're in uncirculated or mint state condition. So what's your coin worth in today's auction market? A 1965 Washington quarter in very fine condition typically sells for face value, or around 25 cents. However, if listed in online auctions with other similar coins or in small collections, it might fetch up to 50 cents to $1, depending on presentation and interest. Some collectors pay small premiums for cleaner examples, but for a circulated 1965 quarter. That's about the maximum, unless there's something special about it. And this brings us to one exception that's worth mentioning. There is a rare variety of the 1965 quarter that was accidentally struck on a silver plant shed, a leftover blank from the previous year. These heir coins are extremely rare and are highly sought after by collectors. A genuine 1965 silver quarter can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The easiest way to check is to weigh the coin. A clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams, while a 90% silver quarter weighs around 6.25 grams. If you suspect your 1965 quarter is silver, you might want to get it professionally appraised or weighed on a precise scale. In summary, your 1965 Washington quarter is a part of a significant transition in U.S. coinage history. Next up, the 1980 Washington quarter dollar coin without a mint mark. If you have one of these coins, you may notice it has a silver color, some scratches, and is in good condition overall. You might be wondering if it's made of real silver, what it's worth, and whether it's valuable for collectors. Let's find out. The Washington quarter has been a key part of U.S. coinage since 1932. Originally introduced to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design features Washington's left-facing profile on the obverse, along with inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, and the year of minting, which in this case is 1980. The reverse side displays the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings perched on arrows, framed by olive branches. This design remained unchanged until 1999, when the state quarters program began. Your coin doesn't have a mint mark, which means it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1980, Philadelphia produced millions of these quarters, making the 1980 no mint mark quarter a very common coin in circulation. One important point to clarify is the metal composition. Despite the silver color your coin displays, the 1980 Washington quarter is not made of silver. The last circulating quarters struck with 90% silver were minted in 1964. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition for all quarters produced for general circulation. This means the coin has a core of pure copper, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This copper-nickel blend gives the coin its silvery appearance, but holds no silver content or intrinsic precious metal value. The condition of your coin is described as good with some scratches. In coin collecting terms, good usually indicates that the coin is moderately worn, but the major details like Washington's profile and the eagle are still visible, although some finer features may be worn away. Scratches, especially surface scratches, reduce the coin's aesthetic appeal and can affect its value if they are severe. When it comes to value, the 1980 Washington quarter without a mint mark, in circulated condition with scratches, generally holds little to no premium over face value. In most cases, these coins sell for around 25 to 40 cents in the current auction market. If your coin were in higher grades, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, it might fetch more, sometimes between $10 to $50, but that depends on overall eye appeal and whether the coin has any unique characteristics. Speaking of unique characteristics, some collectors seek out error coins, which can significantly increase value. Occasionally, quarters from this era may have been struck off-center, doubled, or have other minting errors. Such coins, depending on the rarity and severity of the error, can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars. If you notice anything unusual with your coin's design, edge, or inscriptions, it might be worth having it examined by a professional. Another factor that can influence value is toning, a natural color change on the surface of coins caused by oxidation over time. While some toned coins are highly prized for their beauty, typical toning or discoloration does not greatly affect the value of a circulated quarter. To get a better idea of what your coin might be worth, you can check recent sales of similar 1980 no-mint mark Washington quarters on online auction sites like eBay. You'll find that most coins in similar conditions sell for around face value, with only high-grade or error coins commanding significant premiums. In conclusion, your 1980 Washington quarter without a mint mark, with a silver color, good condition, and some scratches, is a common circulating coin made from copper-nickel-clad metal, not silver. While it may not be rare or valuable in the collector market, it is still a fascinating piece of U.S. history and a part of the classic Washington Quarter series. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. For more coin history and value guides, leave a comment below if you have a coin you'd like us to discuss or if you want to share your collecting story. Until next time, happy collecting!